Well, today's adventure is a little wetter than usual, also a little warmer. Today's date, January 8th of 2026. I'm just getting out of the Starbucks for my morning routine. Gonna go grab a little bit of lunch. Not sure where though, but I figured y'all would like to come along for the ride. What's cooking, folks? Mike Cook here, welcoming you once again to my second channel, my daily vlog channel. Cock-a-doodle-doo, it's the way of the woo, it's the Daily Cluck. Welcome, everyone. As I mentioned, it is January 8th of 2026. It is a little bit of a rainier day, not quite snowy, which is good. We don't like snow here on the Daily Cluck. We enjoy the happy, brighter days. And I'm just now leaving the Starbucks this morning to go ahead and get going on my next big adventure, which is going to be finding a small lunch. So let's see how it goes. I've actually been doing a lot of job applications this morning, not necessarily for graphic designer. I mean, those are sprinkled in, right? But I'm looking more for office assistant, administration roles, basically bookkeeping, all that fun stuff, just to just to find something in California that is not entry level, it's not super chaotic, it is easy peasy for the most part, but it brings in a steady income. It allows me to live, it allows me to survive, it gives me the time that I need in order to make my other dream come true. I've had a couple of people reach out, which has been really great, specifically with the graphic design position. I actually went and submitted my portfolio, which is my website, but I do need to update it just a little bit longer. It needs a little bit more of an update, unfortunately. So I don't know if I'm going to be hearing back from this particular employer. I hope I do, though. It would be nice if they gave me some feedback and said, hey, this is great, but I'm going to put out in the universe that he likes what he saw. He's going to go, okay, let's give this guy a shot. So we'll see. I also have the disadvantage of, unfortunately, not living in California at the moment. Relocating and basically trying to find work in other states is always difficult, but the logistics of it are going to be, a little tough. But I am confident that I will find the right job, or the right job will find me, and it will get me to the West Coast and get my dreams on the fast track. Because, not gonna lie, not necessarily the biggest fan of the Illinois weather, especially around this time of year. It's always cold and dark and dreary. And I mean, yesterday was obviously a exception with the sun coming out and we had that beautiful sunset, but typically this is not the norm for this time of year. And I have a sneaky suspicion that we're going to be in for a lot more white stuff before we get the green stuff. So, but anyway, so I'm just holding on to hope, making sure that I do what I need to do in order to best position myself, and I feel like I'm doing that. So lots of cool things. And for lunch today, I think we're gonna do a little Panera bread. So I've actually updated my kit just a little bit. I got this new tripod selfie stick kind of looking thing. It's really cool. And what's really neat about it is that it actually has a little remote that is detachable. So I could actually take this and I can hit this button, it'll stop the recording, it'll start the recording. I can, have the little bit more steady of a hand with this, which is really neat. And that was only like 25 bucks at Best Buy. So definitely, if you are interested in vlogging and you want to do something a little easier. You don't have the money for like the big tech. I just use my iPhone, a little tripod, and I just go out and go. So that's my recipe for success. Here's my other recipe for success: the Panera Bread green goddess Cobb salad. I get it with everything, but instead of the traditional dressing, I swap it up for the balsamic vinaigrette. I'm a balsamic kind of guy, and yeah, I do like a little bit of bread. I should have probably gone with the apple, but that's okay. This is great, a lot of protein. It's gonna taste really good. And then for a drink, I got a blueberry lavender lemonade. So I'm quite happy with this. Very excited. It's gonna be a good lunch. By the way, as of the recording of this video, Chucky Chicken Cartoons has surpassed 7,000 subscribers. So we are very much on our road to 10,000. Actually, in order to get the silver play button, we need 100,000. So we're 7% of the way to getting a silver play button, which I think is actually pretty cool. So if you want to help us out, head on over to Chucky Chicken Cartoons right here on YouTube. Make sure that you go hit that subscribe button. Check out all the other videos. And, we got our main episode, Driving Me Looney, that came out last year. We also have our holiday special, Carolers Are Cluckin' and Tricked and Treated, that we put out. So go give those a like. We're going to have a lot more to come over on that channel in the future. But for now, thanks for your support. I've been called to do a service for my grandma. Her bird bath fell over, so I'm gonna pick it up and get it back where it needs to be. She was not kidding. That was pretty heavy, but there we are, back and good and new. And as we leave Grandma's house, we're gonna end with a salute to America. Again, 250 years of this amazing country. God bless America. Well, I just got done with a very nice visit with Grandma Anthony, and that's always good. I really love spending time with her. March will be the first year that we lost Grandpa, and I will say that she has been handling it incredibly well. We got through his first birthday without him being here, the first Christmas without him being here. Now we're coming up on the first Valentine's Day, coming up here pretty soon. My Uncle Rob has been a champ, coming and helping, making sure that she's okay, getting stuff done. And, it just was a really great thing to be able to hang out with her, spend time with her, and just kind of lay out my plan of action of what I want to do. And I actually finally was able to verbalize to her, like, why California is, for me, my dream place, and why I think I would thrive out there. And like some of the things that I've been thinking about when it comes to this, this move and all the stuff that I want to do. And I figured that I would share it with all of you as well, because I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, Michael, why on earth would you want to move from Chicago, Illinois to Anaheim, California? Well, let me share a little bit of my thoughts with you here. Well, for one thing, I wouldn't be stuck with weather like this all the time. California, specifically Southern California, is always known for its sunshine, and I can attest to that. Even when I was living out there for just a couple of months, I was there from January to March of 2010, and that whole time that I lived out there, yes, it would get a little cold and rainy and goopy in the morning. It would never drop below 40 degrees. It would always be somewhere between like 45, 50 degrees, very much like today. But it would always warm up, the sun would come out later in the day, and it would just be a really wonderful, beautiful thing. So, first of all, the sun is a big draw for me. The other factor being that I have a recently diagnosed vitamin D deficiency, which I have been taking, supplements for, trying to bolster those numbers up and get that back to where it needs to be. But I just love being in the sun. I love, having the sun on me at all times. Whenever I see the sun or I feel the sun, I do end up getting a lot happier. It does change my mood. And yeah, I just want to be constantly happy, even if I'm starving and even if, things aren't necessarily going my way. Number two, it would be positioning me in an area where I would be around pretty much everything in my career. I would be very close to Disneyland, Hollywood, Universal Studios, all of the studios, all of the animation companies, and it's essentially where the industry was born and where people thrive in it today. So for me, I want to be as close as I can to the action, just in case things take a dramatic turn for the better. What I mean by for the better is obviously in recent years with the advent of artificial intelligence and just the massive amounts of strikes and layoffs and everything that we have been dealing with, or they have been dealing with over there in La La Land. It's been very difficult to get animated projects produced. However, I feel like I would have a much better chance of being able to go to a company and say, hey, I'd like to take out a loan to produce an animated show, or to start an animation studio when the time comes. Not right away, but do not fret, because I am positioning myself for a lot more success out there in how I'm looking for my job, and also where I want to live, which of course is in Anaheim. I live down in Anaheim and I know the area relatively well. I've stayed there a couple of times since I lived there. I was back out there in 2023 in June for the Disney 100 celebration, and I was just out there recently in July, in the middle of July, for Disneyland's 70th. And while I did have to go through Anaheim in order to get to where I was staying in Los Angeles, I did not get a chance to go to Anaheim the last time I was out there in October. But rest assured, it probably hasn't changed too much. I really do love the area. It is a lot cleaner. It is a lot safer. There definitely is this sort of camaraderie. It is, it's the entertainment city. You got Knott's Berry Farm not too far away, and Disneyland is the center of Anaheim. Of course, you have, Six Flags Magic Mountain. You have all these other different theme parks. If you go up a little bit north on the I-95, you got Universal Studios, right? And then if you want to keep going north a little bit more, and go up to Santa Clara, you can get to Six Flags Great America. No, California's Great America. And that for me is kind of what I would like to do. I would like to be able to make it out to Santa Clara just to see their Great America before it shuts down permanently at the end of this particular season. So I'd really like to be able to get out there and see it. I know it's a bit of a long shot, but no, it's not a long shot. There's no such thing as a long shot. It's planning, prepping, doing what you want to do. And if you can, then definitely go and do it. Specifically this year, because if there was a year to go, this was definitely one. Six Flags Great America, the park in Gurnee, Illinois, as well as California's Great America, the one in Santa Clara, California, are both celebrating their 50th anniversaries, opening in April and in July of 1976. So this is a bit of a big year to go and visit Great America. And rest assured, I will be going out to Great America a couple of times this year, especially when, with me losing the weight and doing that progress and making that a reality. I would like to be able to properly fit in some of the rides before I get to Great America. So it's a good thing that I'm starting now with probably about 5-6 months before it properly opens. And if I do everything the right way and I plan accordingly, I will probably be able to get out there either just before or maybe a month or so before I make my move out west. So it will probably be a nice little bon voyage to leave Six Flags Great America and then go and check out California's Great America. But only time will tell, and only you will see when the time does come, and we're in December, and we're either still here in Chicago freezing our tuchuses off, or we are in California, nice, warm, and happy, and reflecting on the amazing new life that we build for ourselves, and the one that I'm personally manifesting. So we shall see what happens. But, you know, I am a believer in all that stuff. I believe that if you put it out there, the Lord will give it to you, and you just got to ask him for it. And I have been asking for him for this for a very long time. And I honestly feel that my dreams are just on the cusp of coming true. And I will explain what I mean by that by using the Disneyland story. Many of you may know this, and some of you may not, but for first-time viewers, back in 2005, Disneyland celebrated its 50th anniversary. And while I was attending Marmion Academy at the time, I was only in high school, probably about 17 years old. I really wanted to go and experience the Disneyland 50th anniversary, a once-in-a-lifetime celebration of everything Disneyland and celebrating the happiest homecoming on Earth. It was actually that year in 2005 that I made it a personal goal that I would be standing tall on Main Street, USA, in a year ending in 5 on July 17th, basically to ring in whatever big anniversary they were celebrating that specific year. Now, I did have a couple of really cool years to look forward to, starting in 2005 with, of course, the golden anniversary, which I did not make it out there for. Unfortunately, I was too young. But caveat, I actually did make it out to Walt Disney World for the happiest celebration on Earth. And I did get myself a golden pair of mouse ears. So I do actually have a pair of mouse ears. They do say Walt Disney World. They do not have the 50 on it, but it's the same insignia that they had for the 50th. But I actually do have a golden Mickey that has the 50. And if I remember, I will be sure to put it in the video somehow, or maybe post it up on social media. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do correlation between all the other social media stuff. Time flew by, and in 2010 I was there, but I unfortunately left shortly before the 55th, which meant 5 years later in 2015 would be my chance to get out there for the Diamond celebration. And that was a bit of a doozy one. It was when they introduced Paint the Night. They had the castle looking all glittery with the diamond decor, and it actually kind of was one of those pivotal years for Disneyland, specifically probably one of the last anniversaries that I can remember where you could experience the Disneyland that I first experienced when I visited the park in 2008, in a way. But 2015 was, again, a really big pivotal year. It was the year that I first moved out. It was when I was working at the resort. And while I did have a week's vacation, I did not have the money, nor did I have the resources or, quite frankly, the time to start planning and going on a trip. And as much as I wanted to, I also had other priorities at that time. I was working on Hodgepodge Tonight, and that took up a lot of my time. I was also, in the midst of dating, and that did not quite pan out the way that I wanted to. I had just actually been broken up with my first longtime girlfriend. And it just was not the right year to get out west to California. And of course, 2015 would spiral into probably some of the most formative years that I had in my life, which would then take us through a whole decade until I got back to Anaheim, California. And so, less than a decade later, in June of 2023, after the heartache of moving out to Davenport and then moving back to Davenport in order to take care of my grandma with Alzheimer's, and after a very incredibly difficult 3 to 5 months of just putting up and dealing with my new situation, my parents threw me a bone. And for my birthday this year, they essentially gave me the ultimate dream trip that I always wanted, and they paid for me to go to Disneyland for the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company. It was only for a couple of days. It wasn't that long of a trip, but to be fair, I didn't really... The other part of it was part of a business trip. So I did have 2 days in the park, one for Disneyland and one for Disney's California Adventure. However, when I got there, I was early with my hotel reservation, so I actually ended up putting down another 180 to almost $200 for a ticket to go into Disneyland that day. And I got to tell you, I'm actually really glad that I did, because it now has solidified in my mind what my ideal trip to California and to Disneyland really entails. You know, it sparked my childhood. It basically made me feel like a kid again. Going to Anaheim, seeing the Matterhorn peeking over the berm, driving down Harbor Boulevard and seeing the monorail and seeing all the stuff that I remember, and just getting excited about going to the happiest place on earth, and seeing all of this beautiful stuff that I had not seen. Going back and seeing the things that I had not seen in a very long time. The Matterhorn poking up over the berm, the monorail going across Harbor Boulevard, and all of this before I even was able to get a rental car. I was able to, but I couldn't afford one at the time, and I didn't necessarily think about it. But not only that, my parents were paying for this one, so they opted, you can Uber. No need for a rental car. Something that I very quickly changed on my last trip, now that I had friends that were really excited to see me when I was coming out west. I decided on my next trip in July of 2025 that I would rent a rental car. And boy howdy, is that a story for another time. I'm actually going to save that one for when I go back to California in a couple of months. So stay tuned. While we're driving in the rain, though, I did want to point out that here's the front of the Aurora Fire Museum that we were talking about a couple of vlogs ago. Maybe we'll go back and check that out. But yeah, moving right along. So yes, on July 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th of 2025, no, July 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th of 2025, I found myself back in Anaheim, California, finally making my 20-year dream come true as I rang in 70 years of Disneyland Park on its anniversary. And I gotta tell you, I'm so thankful, because that was a dream that I was honored, happy, and just absolutely thrilled to get off of my bucket list. And the other really cool thing about it is I now know how to travel rather inexpensively. I know what deals to look out for. I know how to do it. I've done it a number of times. I know what rental companies to work with my current financial situation. I don't have a credit card that has a massive limit. So unfortunately, a lot of these companies like Thrifty and, Enterprise and so on and so forth won't be able to work with me because I don't have a credit card. But thankfully, the company that I did use down there, S&A Rental, out of, I believe it's Newport Beach, right next to John Wayne Airport. Again, we will tell this story when we get there later. But it, needless to say, it definitely was an interesting time, and definitely it was just a great time to be able to go and celebrate and just have a good time. And it was really, quite frankly, one of my favorite trips to the Disneyland Resort thus far. And I am truly looking forward to the next time that I get out there. I am actually planning on getting out to Anaheim sometime in mid-March, just to take a look and see at apartments as well as the overall area. I am, of course, still looking for work and a job. So if I'm able to find a spot in either Anaheim, Santa Clarita, or not Santa Clarita, excuse me, Santa Ana, Orange County, anywhere like that, that would be incredibly ideal. Farther away from Los Angeles, but yet the closer I am, you know what I mean. I'm farther away from the LA prices, but still close enough in proximity where I can drive and be comfortable. That's what I'm looking for. So, but I definitely am going to be out there this spring just to take a look and see what's available, what's all changed. And a lot can happen in a couple of months' time, but I'm really excited for the journey that we're taking along the way. Now, granted, there is still a lot on my end that I have to do. Like I said, I still have to get a job. I still have to save up quite a bit of money in order to make sure that the move is feasible. I have been told that nobody will be paying for my move. So it will be all me if I want to make this happen. And rightfully so. You know, I need to be able to prove to myself that I can do it. I've proven that I can get out there not once, but twice in a year, which I did. And I'm very proud of that. The second time I got out there has led to potential job opportunities and just kind of got me thinking of different ways to think about getting into the industry, getting out there to California, getting work in California, and then still allowing me to do my animation stuff and make that prosperous. So we'll see how that goes. And as we wrap up this particular vlog for today, it is getting closer to the time that I typically pick up dinner for grandma and get her all situated for the evening. I did want to go ahead and say, first and foremost, thank you to all of you lovely people who have taken the time to tune in with me on this rainy day. It's not as much fun as when we were going around in the Civic Center, I know, but I think it is really great that you guys joined me today. I really appreciate it, and you have no idea what you guys mean to me. Like, just the fact that you're here listening to me ramble about my stories of Disneyland, and that you show up every day. And I'm going to try and get better about my upload schedule. I know lately they have been coming out later on in the day, which is great for the West Coast people. Maybe not so great for those who live in the East or other parts of the world. But still, I'm very thankful that you guys are tuning in. So, thank you again. And if you really want to continue to show your support, as all the people say when you run a YouTube channel, please make sure that you give this video a like, leave a comment down below, not just in the live chat, but also down in the bottom, so that way I see them and they are long lasting after the chat is gone, after the premiere is done. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button right there, and as well as that little bell, and make sure that when you click the bell that you select all, so you are notified every single time that I upload a video. I do have a PayPal, which is going to be linked down below. If you really enjoy my adventures and you want to throw me a buck or two in support of what I do, I'd really appreciate it. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it is there just in case, if you would like to throw me something to help me continue to do my adventures. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, so with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. And I know it's a bit of a gloomy day here on January 8th. I do have a bit of an early morning tomorrow, so the vlog may start earlier in the morning. Who knows? Nobody knows. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it. But anyway, for now, this is Mike Cook saying to keep on adventure. I hope you have a great day. And in the immortal words of Adam the Woo, the vlog for today is over.